Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is yet another album review, and the album that I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on today is The Strange Case of by Halestorm. Now, this is a band I honestly had never even heard of until I was requested to listen to this album, and just after listening to one album by this band, this is definitely a band that I'm going to listen to more of. In fact, I actually did download their discography, so I'm gonna listen to that in the future. When I'm like just hanging out, just chilling, just relaxing, maybe while I'm on break at work. So yeah, I can say I'm a fan of this band. I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'm like a diehard fan of Hailstorm, but I would say that I'm definitely a fan of them. There's a reason why they've been successful. There's a reason why they get so many tour dates and tour with bands like Evanescence because this is definitely a talented band. Now, before I get around to sharing even more thoughts on this band and this album, I would like to give a special shout out to Steven for requesting this video. And if there's another film, TV show topic, album review that you would like to see me discuss in the future, feel free to donate to either my PayPal or to my Patreon. Link to both is in the video description down below, and I will try to get your request as soon as I possibly can. Now, this is the second album by Hailstorm. Their first album was their self-titled debut, and it was released in 2009. This album is their second album that came out in 2012, and this is the album that really made them a pretty big up and coming name in rock because it hit number 15 on the Billboard 200. It sold 24,000 copies in its first week. It has sold 1 million copies in the US as of June 2nd of 2022. So I'm pretty sure since then it's probably sold more. So it's now more than likely sold over 1 million copies. So that's a pretty successful album, especially when it comes to rock albums, because rock isn't really it's sadly not really a genre of music that's as popular as it once was. Um, but this was a popular enough album when it comes to the sales, and it was also a pretty big success when it comes to awards. It won a Grammy for best hard rock metal performance for the song "Love Bites, So Do I." And "Freak Like Me" was the band's first single to reach number one on the mainstream rock chart. The song "Here's to Us" was also performed on the TV show Glee, and there was even a deluxe edition of the album that was also released. I didn't listen to that version. I just went with the regular version without the bonus tracks. The band is comprised out of four main members. Um, you have the siblings, Lizzie and RJ, Hale, who founded the band in 1997. Lizzie Hale is the lead vocalist and the guitarist. Um, RJ Hale is the drummer. Then you also have guitarist Joe Hottinger and bassist Josh Smith, who are also a part of the band. The Strange Case of features 12 tracks, and the first track is called Love Bites, So Do I. And this is definitely quite a solid opener. I felt this was a strong opening track. Uh, it bites in a good way. The guitar riffs are really strong. They have a good amount of impact to them. They definitely do make you want to bang your head, which is what you're looking for out of a rock track. And it does a good job sinking its teeth into you early on with the guitar work and then the vocals coming in. And speaking of the vocals, Lizzie Hale's vocals, for the most part, are really good in this track. And I don't mind the lyrics, although some of it is, a bit too obvious in terms of the cheekiness. But that's kind of what you're expecting from rock. So it's not necessarily a net negative. But yeah, I enjoy the song. I think it's a good song. It's a good length as well. It's not too long. I would say it's definitely one of my favorites from this album. It's one that I would honestly listen to again more than once. Track 2 is called Miss Hyde. I like the idea of it, which is talking about like a split personality. And I like the idea of making a gender flipped take on Mr. Hyde and utilizing that in a song. And I like that it's trying to tell a little bit of a story, be a little bit different in terms of the way that it's structured with the lyrics and the overall composition of the song. But I think it's not executed that well. Like, it's one of those songs where it's like, okay, it's interesting, but I don't even know if it was intentional to make it sound like it's two different songs, as if there's one that's Jekyll and one that's Hyde. And there's a lot of experimental stuff in this in terms of, I don't know if reverb is the right word, but using some auto tune and some other different sort of stuff, and strange compositions in terms of different instrumentals that are utilized. It's just a track that to me just doesn't really work. Like, it's ambitious, but it isn't really a track that really clicks together fully. Especially at the end. Like, that was really jarring in terms of like the last like 30 seconds of this song. Track 3 is called I Miss the Misery. Another track that I really enjoyed. I feel it's got some really powerful vocals by Lizzie Hale. I think the guitar work is rather good. I think it's anything but a miserable song to listen to. Like, it's definitely got a good sense of energy to it, which you're looking for out of, a rock album. You can definitely rock out to this track, and it's got a really catchy hook as well. So yeah, I like that track. Track 4 is Freak Like Me, another track that I also enjoyed. I can see why this became a bit of a hit for a short amount of time. It's got some more catchy hooks, some good riffs. Definitely has some really solid and strong guitar work throughout it. Uh, Good usage of the drums. Overall composition of the entire track is good. So I definitely don't think it's like a freakish track in terms of it being like misshapen or weird or just off kilter. It's a pretty consistently a good track overall. Track 5, Beautiful with You. I didn't really care for this track. This is this is really where it seems like Lizzie Hale is trying to be Evanescence. This is really very Evanescence-esque, and so is track 6, In Your Room. Beautiful with You, as a ballad, it's just forgettable and generic to me personally. Whether it's the lyrics or the structure of the song or the instrumentals or anything like that. The vocals by Hale are fine. I think she does an honorable job, but it's not a track that I'm really big on. It's definitely not a track I find to be that beautiful or something that I'm really going to want to listen to again anytime soon. But I will say that there's more effort put into that one than track 6, In Your Room. In Your Room just seems like a track that's just a throwaway track. I mean, it's only 2 minutes and 46 seconds. The vocals by Hale are okay. The lyrics are pretty below average, if you ask me. Not really a big fan of other aspects of the song either when it comes to overall composition of the track, when it comes to like the drums and the guitar work and whatever instrumental is being used in it. Um, so yeah, I wasn't really big on that one. Number 7 is called Break In. Yeah, track 7 is Break In. This is a better ballad. Like, this is a ballad that I actually liked. It once again showcases Hale's really powerful and strong vocals, and it's actually got some genuinely good composition this time. It's not lazy, it's not uninspired. It almost has this operatic vibe at points. Um, yeah, it kind of does sound like Evanescence Light again, but I still liked the track for what it was. Track 8 is Rock Show, another one that I didn't mind. This one very much kind of reminded me of like a throwback track from like an older like emo alt rock band, almost My Chemical Romance esque in terms of the fact it's trying to tell a story, and it's got this more epic sort of production to it. Once again, Hill's vocals are great, and I honestly like the lyrics, even though they can be a bit corny at points. But yeah, that one I did enjoy as well. I like that track. Um, Number 9, Daughters of Darkness. That's another track that I feel is also pretty good. Once again, Hale is still bringing it with the vocals. The guitar work is still really solid, really good overall. So is like the percussion and the other elements of the track. Some of the lyrics are a bit eh, but for the most part, I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good track. Same thing for track 10. You call me a bitch, like it's a bad thing. Um, I didn't mind that track either. Like the attitude in the track. It didn't come across like it was too bitchy or anything, which easily could have happened considering the name of the track. Once again, Hale is just phenomenal with her vocals. Some extra work by everybody in the band contributing, and the guitarist, the drummer, all coalescing together to create a really solid composition. The lyrics are definitely a little over the top, but it fits. The one bit that I didn't care for out of this track is that there's like an intentional stutter that Hale does near the end. You call me a bitch. Like, I didn't really care for that. That wasn't needed. But other than that, like, I like the track. Track 11 is called American Boys. That's another kind of almost throwaway track for me. It's got a good beat to it, good rhythm. Hale's vocals aren't the problem, but the lyrics aren't really the best, and it's just not really that catchy of a song. It's honestly just mediocre. Like, it's a very mediocre track, but it's not unlistenable. Like, it's not something that I can't listen to. Track 12 is Here's to Us. It's a short track, but I think it works. It's another track that has a bit of an epic, not quite operatic, but kind of, almost a musical esque kind of feel to it at points. I don't mind the lyrics. Once again, Hale does a awesome job with the vocals, and it's just a well put together song for what it is. So I think it's a pretty good send off to the album. So yeah, I like this album. There are only like 2 tracks I really didn't care for, and the rest were at least interesting or listenable, tolerable. And even the tracks I didn't really like weren't unlistenable trash like some other albums that I've listened to from different artists. So yeah, I mean, if you like rock, this is definitely an album I'd recommend if you haven't heard it yet, and a band that I would recommend listening to. Especially if you're a fan of Evanescence. If you're a fan of Evanescence, this is definitely something that's going to be up your alley. But anyway, thanks for watching my thoughts on The Strange Case of by Hailstorm. And until next time, I'll see you later. See ya.